to the TMAC fitness workshop, and today we're going to talk about bench press. And it's one of people's probably most favourite exercise and probably the go-to exercise people love doing, and it's a great exercise, but there are a few teaching points and maybe tips just to make sure we're getting the most out and we're doing it correctly. So first of all, before we even start, we make sure we know what bar it is, whether it's 20 kilo, 15 kilo, whichever we put on our plates, put the clips on, which is very important just in case you end up going a little bit lopsided. When you're going heavy on it, it's always great to have a spotter with you as well, just so that you get maybe that extra rep out that you might feel safe doing if you don't have a spotter with you. On the days maybe it's not always feasible to have one, it's always good maybe to have an extra set of hooks there that's a little bit lower that we can get back on, or even the spotter bars at the back, which are great to use as well. Don't always assume that the bench is set up correct for you, so make sure the bench is in correct position and the bar is also even on the rack, because if we set up a little bit crooked, you might think the bar is level, and then when you on rack, then you're going to be a little bit lopsided. The bar itself, the grip you want to use now, you can go wide grip of course and narrow grip for different reasons, but the standard to get the most out of your bench press is kind of a neutral grip. So when you're coming down, you always want to come down with the elbows a little bit tucked. Also, there's a thing, the bar pat on the bench isn't necessarily straight up and straight down, it kind of comes in a little bit of an arc then as well. We'll show you now on the setup. I've already checked the bench there, lie back down. So where we're going now is eyes are looking directly up at the bar. If your eyes are looking towards the bar, what happens then is you're actually too far behind. So when you unrack that, you're going to be actually very close to the rack, and there's nothing worse than mid-rep clipping the rack. And if you're out too far, what will happen then is the weight you're lifting, you're going to have to unrack it and then pull it forward. Once again, that is okay if you have a spotter and you want the spotter to lift it out, and they're going to be there for all the reps. If not, then it's right under the bar. The grip then on most bars, you see the way the pattern, the texture changes in the bar. It's just a gauge to make sure that if you're a tongue width in from that, well then you know that you're even on both sides. When you unrack the bar then, there you go. You'll see the bar pad isn't actually straight down. You're not bringing your elbows to right angles, that puts a lot of stress in the shoulder. What you're doing is you're bringing that bar down in kind of a little bit of an arc, so a little bit down lower the chest and then pushing it back up. Now the reason for that is you'll see when you come down straight with a straight bar, that's going to leave a lot of stress there on the shoulder, so that elbows all want to be tucked in. Another thing then as well, what happens is if you're a little bit weak on the chest, you'll end up kind of pushing to shoulders finishes up there. And go with that is you'll have to really teach yourself to start always before each rep is to drop the shoulders down, shoulders will stack nicely back, and don't lock out the elbows. So when you're pushing up, you just finish with slightly soft elbows and back down and up. Another important thing to think about is also your foot position. You might see people maybe with their feet up on the bench and stuff like that. And that is actually, your feet have to be firmly on the ground because when it gets heavy, you're going to have to push against the ground. So you might go back in a little bit underneath the bench, a little bit at the front, wherever you find most comfortable. But the idea of that is that you're going to push into the ground in order to get this angle here. You don't want the back flat on the ground because you want to angle the shoulder back into the bench. Now if your feet are out too far, if you push into the ground, what's going to happen is it's actually going to slide on the bench. Then if your feet are in too close and you're on your toes, you still can't push right, and you end up probably going to get cramps maybe in the side of your legs and stuff like that. You want a slight arch in the back, alright, but not massively, and you always want the glutes in contact with the bench then as well. Another thing then about the hooks here is that you don't want them that you're going to have to stretch up and unhook. Because you imagine now you're getting fatigued, you want it to be as easy as possible to get to re-rack that bar down as well. So it's important for the shoulders to be stacked back, like I said, because you don't want the shoulder, you're telling your body to push this bar away from you, and your body's going to use every muscle it can to be able to do that. So you have to teach yourself to keep those shoulders back. That'll get the most out of the bench press. Also, it depends a lot on the bar thickness as well. This is a 30mm bar, 28mm bar, 32mm bar. And kind of a nice mid-range thickness is actually a lot easier to push against because you have more surface area to push against them as well. Important with the grip as well, that when you're gripping the bar, you always lock the thumb in. Never have the thumb behind the hand, especially when you're going a little bit heavier with that and you get fatigued. That bar is quite easy now to slip out then as well, and it's going to fall on top of you too. So always have a nice tight grip in there, which is also important. So that's kind of just a few tips just to keep in mind. You might not get all in the first time, but it's kind of a conscious decision every time to go through all your checkpoints and eventually you get them. It's always about technique, not about the weight you lift. So if you are starting, make sure you start off light, you get that technique right, because as you go on, it's probably going to be harder to correct those techniques if you've been doing it incorrectly for a while. A few of them are probably more safety points maybe, and then a few technique points. But the technique points are important just to be efficient lifting in your bench press as well, and that way you get the most out of it. And so you can learn it, practice, develop, and move on through it. But it is probably one of the fundamental compound lifts that will be in most people's programs then as well. So we'll just finish up on those few points. Like I said, it's just a couple of tips that you want to add into your benching, and hopefully will make your benching a little bit better as well. Thanks for watching today, and like I said, I hope you take aboard a few of them tips that we have